Ni hao. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Marcelo Duarte. I'm the Director of International Relations at ABRAPA, the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association. Brazil is the second largest cotton exporter in the world, and China is one of the major cotton producers and the first global importer of cotton. We need to know ourselves better, develop stronger relationships because we complement each other a lot. I would like to say that it's a big pleasure to present to you the Cotton Brazil Harvest 2021 Roundtable in China. Since this year, we cannot host our dear clients from China for our harvest season like we normally do. This year's webinar will take you to a virtual tour to Brazilian farms as we talk about the main figures of the 2021 crop that is now on the way to the international markets. Before we start, I would like to remind you that this webinar is being recorded, and then by participating in this recording event, you are providing consent for us to openly share this recording with may include your name and identified comments in the chat window. If you choose not to participate, we will share the link to the recording presentation for you to access later. Furthermore, I would like to give you a quick guidance on how do we make the most of our meeting. First, in terms of language interpretation, our webinar will be available in Chinese, English, and Portuguese. Please choose your preferred language by clicking at the interpretation button at the lower menu bar on your Zoom screen. You can choose the original audio, only Chinese, English, or Portuguese. Even though you are understanding me in English now, please choose English if you wish to continue in English. At the end of the webinar, we will have the roundtable discussion session. Please send your questions through the Q&A button at the lower menu on your Zoom screen. If any questions remain unanswered, it will be answered by email by our team. This event has been put together by ABRAPA, ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association, and Apex Brazil, the Brazilian Trade and Investment Promotion Agency, along with CNCE, China National Cotton Exchange, BCO, Beijing Cotton Outlook, and the Embassy of Brazil in Beijing. As this initiative can only be successful with the support of these organizations, I would like to thank all our partners. Tonight's host speakers are Júlio Busato, President of ABRAPA, and Miguel Faus, President of ANEA, the Brazilian Cotton Shippers Association. We also like to welcome our guests who will be part of our roundtable. Mrs. Nicole Wang from CNCGC and Mr. Zhou Chantao from Yongling Group, Cotton Textile Mills. Thank you all for being part of Cotton Brazil Roundtable. Cotton Brazil also receives important support from the Brazilian government through the Embassy of Brazil in Beijing. Therefore, I would like to call Your Excellency, Ambassador Paulo Estivalete Mesquita, Ambassador of Brazil to China, for his welcome remarks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ambassador of Brazil to China. We are here today to examine the scenario of production and exports of the coming season. This event is part of a number of initiatives promoted by the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association, ABRAPA, supported by the Brazilian National Shippers Association, ANEA, and the Brazilian Agency to Promote Exports and Investments, Apex Brazil, to bring together the Brazilian cotton production government, and importers. Brazil is the second largest supplier of cotton to China, providing almost 30% of all Chinese imports of that product, which explains the growing interest of the growing industry in following the trends and statistics of Brazilian cotton production. Whenever I participate in events promoted by Abrapa, I must mention the dynamism characterized by Brazilian cotton production, something I could see throughout my professional career. Brazil, in a few decades, went from a cotton importer into one of the largest suppliers of the product, mainly due to strong investment in state of the art research and the strength of our farmers. With the highest yield in the world, we are another example of sustainability for Brazilian agribusiness, placing the country as one of the main suppliers of sustainable cotton in the world. Dynamism will continue being a strong trend in the sector. According to OECD and FAO, estimates Brazil should account for one fourth of Brazilian of all cotton exports by 2031, using technology and productivity gains, a process that has been present in the Brazilian agribusiness in the past decades. China, in China, Brazilian cotton has shown the same dynamism, benefiting from the opportunities open in the local market to consolidate as a reliable supplier of quality product. That strategic positioning of the Brazilian cotton sector, allowing exports to grow almost 700% between 2017 and 2020. This year, from January to July, Chinese imports of Brazilian cotton reached 480,000 tons, a 26% increase as compared to the same period last year. These figures show the Brazilian capacity of ensuring cotton supply to the Chinese market in high volumes with quality products and competitive prices. The recent signature of an MOU between Abrapa and China Cotton Association and China National Cotton Exchange, also present here today, open more opportunities to strengthen cooperation and cotton trade among the two countries. We hope that pretty soon we can expand that cooperation in areas like research and development and investments. You can count with the permanent support of the Brazilian embassy and the Brazilian government in that endeavor. Our leaders, in their regular contacts, have given clear instructions about the importance of deepening the relationship between the two countries, which can be seen in our bilateral agribusiness trade. Even during the pandemic in 2019, the Brazil China trade grew at record levels, exceeding $100 billion last year. Half of Brazilian exports to China are from agricultural products, showing Brazilian commitment to reinforce its presence in the Chinese market and the growing recognition in China and across the globe of the quality and dynamism of Brazilian agribusiness. Brazil and China have very similar views about the importance of agriculture to our society. Sustainability, yields, and the ability to ensure food to our population are pillars of our agricultural policies guiding bilateral relations. We want to be a priority partners for sustainable production. Brazilian agribusiness has shown to have resources, technology, and the necessary commitment to increase its share in the Chinese market, ensuring the supply of large volumes of cotton and several other agricultural products. I hope that tonight's debates will serve to consolidate that trend even further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador Paulo Stivalek.
Obrigado, senhor.
Your endorsement and support is really important to the success of this initiative. Now, I would like to call our esteemed partner and friend, Mr. Yang Baofu, Deputy General Manager of CNC, China National Cotton Exchange, for his welcome remarks.
尊敬的保罗·瓦莱大使， Respectable Excellency Ambassador Paulo Estivale, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends in the cotton field, good morning and good evening. I'd like to thank His Excellency for his wonderful remarks. Now we're having this roundtable here. On behalf of CNCE, I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations to this conference. And also, I'd like to extend my greetings and welcome to all the guests from China and Brazil. The cotton field in China have been reformed in the last 20 years, and we liberalized the cotton market, and also we have price reform in the price of cotton in Xinjiang. We had a planned economy in the beginning, and now market plays a decisive role, and we're optimizing the general market. We've increased the quality. The cotton industry in China is going with high quality. CNCE is a byproduct of market-oriented reform since it's established in 1999. We serve the cotton field and we have our mission. This is promoting circulation and serving this industry. This is fair and equal, and we provide macro control for the industry, and also we manage the transactions, so first come, first go, and also we establish platforms for price reforms and also operation, and also this is about warehousing, and we provide transaction, capital, regulation, logistics, and services. In that way, we can provide this comprehensive service platform.
Until now, we have over 50,000 enterprises launched on our platform, and that includes more than 80% of the textile companies in China. In the future, our market will continue to keep pace with the time and innovate all the time and to build a very new type of ecosystem of the cotton industry in China. Well, Brazilian cotton has very big potential of productivity. In recent years, Brazil government and Abarapa and other industrial organizations are strengthening their management and strengthening service. The quality of the cotton from Brazil is increasing all the time, especially this feature of non-contamination of the cotton is very competitive, especially in price, and it is very welcomed by the Chinese textile companies. And on the roundtable we are having today, that the expert from cotton sectors from Brazil will share with us the quality and production of the newly produced cottons in Brazil in 2021. And our experts in China will also exchange ideas of Chinese market with Brazilian experts. We'll enjoy the very full and comprehensive data and information. We hope that all of us can learn this valuable information. In June, CNCE has jointly signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Borapa in Beijing this year. We have further consolidated and deepened our cooperation in the future with the support of the government and industry organizations. And through the platform of CNCE, we're going to further strengthen our cooperation and understanding, provide more opportunities for exchange for the businesses, expand the export of Brazil to Chinese market, and continue to build a very sound and healthy international trade environment. We would like to thank the Embassy of Brazil in China, and also we would like to thank Abrapa and NEA. We'd like to thank you for your continuous support to us, and we would also like to thank the very productive organization and coordination provided by the Singapore office of ABRAPA. And thank you for all the friends to participate in this conference. There's a saying in China that sow a grain of millet in spring, harvest 10,000 seeds in autumn. And now it's the autumn in China, and also the harvesting season for cotton in China. And while Brazil is in the south hemisphere, but also it is time for you to have the new cotton go to the market. So this great event we're having today is full of the joy of harvesting, and it will also open a new chapter for the cooperation between our two sides. Even mountains and seas cannot distance people with common aspirations. Let's join hands together to create a better future for the cotton industry in China and Brazil. Finally, I wish you full success of the Cotton Brazil Harvest 2021 Roundtable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yang. It was very inspiring uh, speech, and I have to say that it makes us very enthusiastic and sure that we are on the right track. Now we move on to the presentation, to the welcome remarks from Abrapa, covering 99% of Brazil's cotton production and 100% of the country's total cotton exports. Abrapa, the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association, is a leading national commodity organization in Brazil, representing Brazilian growers domestically and internationally. And now I would like to call Mr. Júlio Bussato, President of Abrapa, for his welcome remarks.
Obrigado, Marcelo. Ni hao.
Thank you, Marcelo. Ni hao. I would like to thank Mr. Yang Baofu and our ambassador, Paulo Stivalet,
Agradecer a Apex Brasil,
I'd like to thank Apex Brazil, ANEA, and our partners, our local partners at CNCE, China Cotton Exchange. I had the pleasure of being there 2 years ago. And also, thank you to the Beijing Cotton Outlook. China is one of the largest world producers of cotton and also the largest importer of Brazilian cotton. For the last crop, China bought from Brazil 721,000 tons of cotton. The 2017-2018 crop year, the volume was as low as 79,000 tons. So, in this short period, we saw a growth of eightfold, 8 times, and that's of course driven by hard work being put in both by Abrapa and also by our partners in China. We have an MOU with CNCA and also with the China Cotton Association. And all those initiatives are already bearing fruit. This is the fourth major event that we are organizing in China this year alone. We are now signing an agreement with CNCE in order for us to be able to co-organize or co-host two large events in the textile market in China, which are Cotton Outlook in December 2021, and also the CNCE, the annual gala for CNCE, which will take place in March 2022. We want to do a lot more than that. Now, this is just evidence of our determination and of our will to be increasingly closer to the Chinese textile industry. In addition, and with the support of CNCE, we also meet very soon with CIQ, the Chinese Customs, to discuss better practices for cotton classing. And that is also a major progress. The country has a textile industry which is quite competitive, quite robust, vastly important across the globe. Brazil, in turn, is a large and reliable supplier of cotton. We can supply cotton that has quality, sustainability, and it is also free of contamination. And we want to increasingly narrow our partnership with the Chinese market. I wish you all a very fruitful event and that this should be very productive. 谢谢.
Mr. President. Thank you very much. Now it's time to start the presentations and then we move on to our roundtable. Now this quick session of presentations, we want to share you some important numbers, final numbers of the 2020 harvest, which went into the market in the 2021 marketing year, which has just finished last July. We'll talk about quality control and some quality numbers of Brazilian cotton. We discuss 2021 harvest. And finally, we're going to have a virtual tour with Brazilian growers and the roundtable discussion with our guests. Regarding the current season, we move on to the slide, and I will show you some figures. In the slide you see next, here we go. We see where cotton production is located in Brazil. So it's located in more than 10 states around the country. Also, you can see in the graph, Brazil's total production number per harvest year. In 2020, last year, we reached the peak of 3 million tons of total lint production. And that was the highest number ever for the country. An increase in 8% in our production as compared to last year's almost 2.8 million. In the map, you can see the location of the main ports, with Santos Port being the most important by far, with 97% of total exports going through this port. 2021's exports finished last July with almost 2.4 million tons exported from our last crop. That's also a record for Brazil. In the current season, Brazil accounted for about 23% of the share of the total cotton trade, which means that almost 1 of every 4 bales traded internationally came from Brazil. And our main partners are, first, China, with 30% of market share of our sales, and second, Vietnam, and third, Pakistan. We talk about quantity, but it's also important to emphasize that we have a strong focus on quality as well. Brazil has put in place our HVI Cotton Quality Control Program. This program analyzes 100% of the cotton bales produced each year in Brazil since 2017. And these HVI analyses have the impressive level of 90%, 96% of results reliability. The results are taken and are assessed in 11 labs that are overseen by one central lab located in Brasilia, our federal capital, the CBRA. And the CBRA, the central lab, audits, controls, and makes sure the results are trustworthy. Now, we have a message for you from 2 of our classing labs so that you can hear their views.
Aqui, neste laboratório, nós somos certificados pelo SBR-HVI e constantemente monitorados pelo CBRA. As atividades vão iniciar em meados de junho, com previsão de término para fevereiro. Nossa equipe está preparada, aguardando esse momento para darmos início ao próximo ciclo. A previsão será de analisarmos 3 milhões de amostras. Este volume representa 100% do algodão baiano.
3 million samples. This represents 100% of the cotton in Bahia, which accounts for 20% of the Brazilian cotton.
O laboratório Copper Fibra
The Copper Fiber Lab is certified by the SBR HVI program, a program monitored by CBRA. 100% of the bales going through the ginning plants and then through the Copper Fibers Lab is tested, monitored, audited, and at the end of the process, a report is issued.
Talking about results, it's early to talk about the 2021 results. We will have the results in the coming months. But let's take a look at the 2020 crop, and these are the final numbers, comparing each one of the parameters as you can see in the slide. For example, for length, 98% of our crop was above 1.08 or 1.332 staple 35. If you change the length and look at 1.18 inches or staple 36, our numbers have also been increasing a lot. Last crop, 88% of all bales analyzed fit within this range, above 1.11 or 1.18 inches, an impressive increase in the last 5 years. Regarding micronair, 99% of our crop was within the range of 3.5 to 4.9. In terms of strength, 98% was above 27 GTEX. And short fiber, that's a point that we've also been working very hard, increased year after year, has been decreasing year after year, which means improving the results year after year. Now it reaching 80% of short fiber index below 10%. Another impressive improvement in the last 10 years. If you want to see the total detailed results, please access the website downloads.cottonbrazil.com/quality report. There you have the full results for the last seasons, and soon you'll be able to access also the results for the 2021 harvest. As you can see, not only the reliability of the HPI results in Brazil are good, but also the overall quality of the Brazilian cotton has been improving consistently over the years as well. Now let's take a look at the forecast for next season, which means the season that we're harvesting right now. We're looking, and first I would like to share with you our cotton calendar. So as you can see, we have a highlight in the month of September. That's where we are right now. So in September is the last month for harvesting cotton in Brazil. That's our last month. So cotton harvest started in June and should finish around this week in September and for the 2021 crop. And the ginning has already started for the, of course, and HVI analysis, as I said, 100% of the bales will be analyzed, and export as slowly started. It's going to pick up towards the end of the year. And now, let's see a video from our president, Júlio Busato, talking about the 2021 harvest.
Meu nome é Júlio César Busato. I'm an agronomist, a farmer, cotton grower, and also the president of the Brazilian Cotton Growers Association. We are here in the state of São Paulo, kicking off our harvest season. And harvest should last until late September. Planting conditions for this crop were challenging, especially in the states of Bahia and Mato Grosso. But fortunately, our growers have a very good capacity for planting, are well organized, and were able, therefore, to get their fields ready. We have reduced the acreage in Brazil by 17% when compared to the previous year, when farmers were trying to decide what to plant, cotton, corn, or soybean. The profitability for cotton was quite compromised. At the time, we were planting cotton at a loss because cotton prices were below production costs. Actually, the final acreage could have been even smaller. But why didn't this happen then? Because growers are aware of the need to preserve our markets, the markets we have captured. We also preserve our teams, our workers, people who have been trained to grow cotton. And we need, of course, to preserve all investments that were made in the cotton fields.
Thank you, Mr. Julio. That was beginning of the harvest time, and now we're almost finishing. It's very fast harvesting in Brazil. And now let's take a look at other states and other growers. Let's make another trip to Brazil. At this time of the year, Abrapa normally hosts many clients, spinners, textile mills from all over the world to visit our farms, our gins, and our glassing labs. Since this year it's not possible, we are going to present to you Abrapa's Virtual Farm Tour 2021, visiting farms around the country. So please follow me on this virtual farm tour to Brazil.
Esse ano, a gente teve uma redução diária de algodão.
This year, our cotton acreage decreased because of late rains during planting. That will also push harvesting a little further too when compared to previous years. The current crop is looking good, it's well managed, pest free, and we'll certainly have quality cotton this year with excellent production levels. For next year, we hope to have an increase in acreage. I think we'll be back to the outlook we had in 2019, 2020, when acreage was slightly larger. Hopefully, rain will come earlier and our acreage will increase.
Na nossa região,
In our region, most cotton is planted after the soybean crop. This year, the soybean season was slightly delayed because of late rains. As a result, our planting window was limited to a period between late January and early February. But we invested heavily in fertility and in more modern, earlier genetic material to try and offset that delay in planting. We hope with that to achieve good results just as we did last year. We have maintained the same area, around 2,000 hectares, and will be as successful this year as we were in previous crops.
O início do plantio em Mato Grosso do Sul.
Planting in Mato Grosso do Sul starts in December, and harvesting takes place in June, July, and August. This year's quality, we are placing our bets on a very high quality level, both in terms of cotton type and HPI results. We're going to be harvesting this field in dry conditions, which really helps improve quality. In Mato Grosso do Sul, we only have summer cotton. So this year in April, we had uncommon weather conditions with severe rain shortage. But with the help of technology and the use of different varieties, we were able to obtain high quality cotton despite the challenging situations. Brazilian fields are in perfect condition, they develop well normally, and will have an excellent production levels with excellent length quality. Brazilian cotton fields work to obtain increasingly better fibers, genetics, technology, always seeking excellent quality levels to meet large markets. Any international market today can come to us, knock on our doors, and you'll find good quality cotton.
Na parte de qualidade, a gente acredita que este ano.
As far as quality is concerned, we believe that this year's cotton will be superior to what we had last year. We choose varieties according to the results of the previous season. We talk to other farmers, we analyze the opportunities together, we analyze the intrinsic quality at the gins, and we choose the variety that will meet the requirements of quality and yields. According to the labs we have talked to, we have achieved good intrinsic quality of the land produced in our state. We believe that we can meet the requirements of the domestic and the international markets.
E as perspectivas são muito boas.
The outlook is very good. The crop has been well established from the very beginning thanks to a good choice of the best cultivars according to our region, according to our soil type. The expected yield is very good. Obviously, we had to dodge the boll weevil. We were expecting a few more millimeters of rain at the end of the cycle. And for 2022, we are already planning and we expect to resume our average acreage, which is of 2,500 hectares of cotton. We are part of a group of farmers who move towards sustainability. We grow with excellence, and that's what we want. We want to become the world's largest cotton exporter.
É muito importante passar para você.
It is very important to convey to you who's buying cotton on the other side of the globe that in Brazil we are planting cotton for a better future. In Brazil we grow 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 for a better future.
Thank you. And now we're going to see some numbers according to, you saw the farmers, you saw the farms, and now I'll ask to put back the presentation to share with you some numbers. So thank you to our farmers. Really, it's impressive to see, farms and farmers in Brazil. And I am here in Singapore right now, and I have to confess how much I miss, being in a farm, being with the farmers in such a wonderful environment that we grow all over Brazil. So these are the final numbers for this cropping season, the 2021 harvest. As we said, we had a reduction in area of 18%, 17 to 18%. So area dropped from 1.66 million hectares to 1.371, 1.4 almost. And consequently, we had a reduction in total production to 2.36 million. That was a major, we believe that's a very punctual reduction due to climate reasons, as it was explained in the video. Next, please. In terms of exports from Brazil, naturally, we will see a reduction in the 21-22 cycle, of course, because of the reduction in production. In the 2021, in this cycle, Brazil's share of the international market will be about 20% as opposed to 23% last cycle. But as you can see in the graph in the slide, the projections of Brazil's Ministry of Agriculture show that our exports can grow more than 100% in the next decade. The graph in the bottom right of your slide. This shows a huge potential for the country to continue growing its production and exports. As long-term perspectives are very positive, let's talk about the future. Now, I'll show you a video of our President Júlio Bussato, who will show you the long-term trends and views for Brazilian cotton production.
As lavouras estão muito boas. Eu acho que nós devemos manter.
The crop is looking very good. I'm sure we will maintain the same yield that we had last year. We expect to resume the acreage that we planted last year, or that we remain very close to that. Obviously, it will depend on how the market and the prices of corn, soybean, and cotton will behave. For the long term, we believe that Brazilian cotton has an enormous potential to grow. We will need two things. First, a market to buy that cotton, and number two, profitability of cotton production. And that profitability comes from yields, production costs, and the price of cotton in the international market. But most certainly, Brazil, in the next few years, is likely to grow a lot its cotton production. In the past 4 years, we were able to double cotton production in Brazil, and we intend to do that again.
Now we have some final remarks to move on to our roundtable. So it was quite clear that Brazil is a long-term player in the international market. The 2021 harvest will be smaller than the previous seasons, but it's still the third largest crop in Brazil's history. It's important to point that. The medium to long-term trend is to continue growing production and exports from Brazil, since we have lots of land, skillful farmers, and a very, very suitable environment for cotton growing. Sustainability, more than 80% of Brazil's crop for the 2021 harvest will be certified by Brazilian Responsible Cotton and consequently eligible for BCI credits. Focus on quality is quite strong with robust quality control program, the SPR HEI, and we have an office in Asia, so we've been very close to Asia each more. I mean, that's the idea, to reduce distances with this partner, and also we have strong partnerships. I would like to thank again our embassy of Brazil in China, the ambassador and all his staff, his team, CNCE, CCA, BCO, and all the companies that have been giving very strong support to Brazil, to Cotton Brazil into China. Now, we move on to our next part. But before, if you want to know more about Cotton Brazil, please take a look at our website, cottonbrazil.com. And we are also on WeChat, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Please, let's have everybody in the roundtable. And I would like to start this roundtable discussion by asking some questions, and mainly to our guests. And I'll start with you, Nicole. Considering that you know Brazil very well. Of course, you've been to Brazil. We've been there together, and now you're in a very important position in China with CNCGC, and which is, everybody knows how important you are in the cotton trade, cotton business in China. So my question to you is that, considering that Brazil is an increasingly important cotton supplier to China, what strategies would you recommend for Brazil to increase its market share, to continue increasing its market share in the China's import cotton market? Good morning.
Marcelo 先生你好，Good morning and good evening. I myself is very honored to have the chance to meet with our Brazilian friends and Chinese friends to be here to learn about the information about harvesting of cotton in Brazil this year. When we talk about the cotton of Brazil, I would like to first talk about our group, CNCGC. We are one of the largest private company, and the Brazil cotton is one of the commodities with the largest import amount. We pay a lot of attention to the cooperation of different parties on the supply chain and industrial chain of cotton. So we have the CNF settlement method, but also we are also directly purchase the cottons from the growers of Brazil. So we visited Brazil and get some knowledge of them, and we are very glad that we have established partnership with some larger producers in Brazil. In the future, we will continue to maintain this channel. And we hope that we would expand our cooperation with the local growers and the partners in the industrial chain in Brazil. And now, in the perspective of the trader, but we are also have the end users and also the textile companies. So our suggestions are also from the our end users. So we'd like to think of what they would like to want. So in terms of transaction or trade, the consumption and the purchasing of the Brazil cotton is the first one is the cost performance ratio. So normally we, as the dealer or as the user before buying the cotton of Brazil, we would have done a comparison of the prices. So every year would compare on the major indicators and compare that with the others, for example, 300 points or 200 points. So if Brazil is 900 points and the average level is 12,000 points, then it is very good to buy the Brazil cotton. Of course, that is the previous logic, and now since this year we may pay more attention to the supply and the demand. And every year when we buy the cotton from Brazil, we would cannot help to compare the prices and to think that whether the price offer is appropriate or not. Why would always like to compare the price? Because the difference of different seasons are quite stable in Brazil. So for myself, with the same quality and with the price differences, for me, I would prefer to buy the American cotton. So I think quality is a major consideration, whether we have the reliable and sustainable or stable quality. And I believe that of our friends from Brazil, including growers and Mr. Basuno, also know a lot. So we have heard several suggestions from our customers. The first one is that consistency of the quality and impurity. So these are the feedbacks we got from the Chinese end users, and these are the questions they have when they working or having the cotton Brazil. When I visit Brazil and to learn about the procedure of the production and the plantation of cotton, I think these how these questions were, and that relates to the production, and the supply or logistics. So just now from the presentation, I have found out that the Brazil growers, especially the larger growers, in terms of the R&D of the seeds, the management of the equipment and facilities, are continuously investing in these areas and continuously optimizing. And I believe that from the intrinsic quality improvement and the management and the investment of the equipment may take some time to see the result. And this improvement started from the large growers. Well, for the smaller growers, this investment and return may not be very encouraging for the smaller growers, and that may take a longer time. So we would like to see that in a very near term, the quality can be improved very soon. From the other aspect, for the cotton from Brazil, from Mr. Marcelo's presentation, we have learned that the quality traceability system in Brazil for the consumers, the quality tracing and track system is a self-testing system. For example, you have the HVI equipment, you have your own laboratory, and HVI test in the laboratory have no open traceability system. I know on the Brca system, the website, there is a system that we can trace the figure of the growers, but the figures are limited because first we should have the consent from the growers that we can get the data. So for the consumers or the users, whether the HVI test result is reliable, we hope there can be an independent third-party testing agency or something like USB to ensure that the data is transparent and traceable. In this way, these HVI test results will be a very important factor to improve the value and the quality of the product. And also, previously, for the Chinese users, the transportation distance is very long. And just now you have said that 97% are exported through the Santos port. Every time at the shipping and the loading season, there may be the very busy or jam, and also the strikes sometimes. So for the users, the sustained and stable supply from the of the cotton from Brazil is very important. And previously, I also have learned from some Brazil partners that in Manaus port in the northeast part, it is tried that to take it as the export port for the cotton. So for this aspect, I would also like to ask a question whether it is possible that this port may play a bigger role in the transportation of cotton, so that to reduce the load of the transportation in the Santos port. Of course, this is a global problem now because this year the efficiency of the global port cannot be guaranteed this year due to special conditions. But I think this is also one of the factors we would consider in terms of transportation. Another way, in terms of the logistics, we hear the feedbacks at the port is that the cotton parcels contamination or the deterioration due to water and also the mold. We know that there's no larger storage areas in the port, so we hope that when we are buying with this offshore prices, we hope that in you can provide the public warehouse for the storage of the cotton. That will be much better for the trade of the cotton, and you will be more competitive in terms of the price discussion. So, in terms of the transaction, and that is my information back to you. And when we talk about the very professional quality, the quality is influenced to the textile protection. Maybe Mr. Joy is better in a better position than me. Thank you.
谢谢. Oh, thank you. And before Mr. Joe, I move to you. I would like to get Mr. Busato and Mr. Miguel to address some of the points that were brought by Nicole. Okay, so that we don't make it suspicious. Okay, so Nicole, you raised very important points, and I thank you for your feedback. And you said price is an issue at the moment. You talked about quality, specifically short fiber, and also you said that our classing system needs to be audited by a third party or by a government, and and that comes to also transparency of the information, right? So I would like to leave this part of the question with our President Busato. And then, Miguel, I'll have you taking the question regarding logistics, okay? Logistics, warehousing, and sport, Manaus port, and that part of logistics that Nicole mentioned. So please, President Busato, could you please step up to answer this first part of the question?
Bem,
Well,
boa noite.
well, good evening or good morning. That's how we see this issue. As for quality, we have conducted a research, a survey using our HPI data and HPI data from USDA, and also our data from our own program, HPR, HPI, and we found out that Brazilian cotton is better than the American cotton in fiber length, strength, and micronair. That's on average, of course. Now, really, the way they present their cotton, their data, they do it better than we do. They present their product better, but we're going to improve on that front as well for the future. We are actually already improving on that and will improve even further. As for short fiber index, we have already found out that this is closely linked with the kind of seed that is planted. Cotton varieties which are planted here in Brazil. And we do have some varieties of cotton that are extremely, that yield really well, but which are no longer being planted because, on the other hand, they also have issues in terms of short fiber index. So based on the chart shown by Marcelo, you can see that we are already improving on that front when we compare past data with current data. What we do know, we still need to improve more, and we are working on it. As for technology research, we are moving forward at a very fast speed, much faster than in the past. Today, at the farm level, we have good connectivity, and that has proven to be a very useful tool for farmers. And the idea is to have technology used out in the field faster by growers. As for the SBR, HVI data, your question about the auditing of that data, we have established an agreement with the Ministry of Agriculture here in Brazil, and we have a program in place which is around self-control, which is similar to what the USDA does. So we'll have that in place across all our ginning plants. Unfortunately, this will only be a reality for the next crop to be planted. As to the SPR data, today we have 80% of Brazilian cotton being tested, and our growers have embraced this program. So the program is being developed, and this year it's being launched nationwide. So for growers to be labeled Cotton Brazil, they must be part of the SBR HVI system. This will allow access to HVI testing information that's on the label, on the bale. Now I hand it over to Miguel to talk about the ports. Miguel, please.
Okay, Julio, thank you very much. Marcelo, everybody present here today, talking about logistics and ports in Brazil. Yes, Santos is responsible for 97% of the cotton exports. This has been a process that happened in the last years. Paranaguá in the past used to handle an important percentage of this volume. But Santos is the port that received investments in the last 10 years. In the container terminals is the hub port in Brazil, where the imports arrive mostly, and there is where you find the containers. So that's the reason why Santos became so important. Also, the internal freights, they are cheaper going from the interior to Santos because the trucks can also always find some load to take it back to the interior. So it makes the internal freight cheaper to Santos than to other ports. Having said that, there is an effort to develop other alternatives. One is the port of Salvador. Some exports have been gone through this port. Paranaguá as well, and other ports in the southern Brazil. And there are some tests and experiments being made through Manaus, as Ms. Nicole mentioned. The distances in Brazil are huge, so this port is suitable for cotton that is grown in the north of Mato Grosso, which is closer to Manaus. And Manaus being a friend zone that imports a lot of goods mainly from Asia, we have containers there, and that's something that can grow in the future, and we expect that part of the cotton can be exported through Manaus and then going to Asia and other destinations. But that's a long-term plan. So not something that you're going to see in the next crop, but maybe in 5-10 years, you'll see more and more cotton being exported through another ports. In terms of warehouses, there's few warehouses in the interior of Brazil. There are public warehouses owned by private sectors. With a huge crop as the one that we had last year of 3 million tons, there's really a need for more warehouses. The port is not a place to warehouse the cotton. It's very expensive, and the areas are very limited, so that's not an option. The cotton, while waiting to be exported, has to be held in the interior. So that's an investment that has to be done by the private sector. The government is not going to build warehouses, especially for a cotton, which is a very specialized warehouse in terms of installations and fighting equipment and this sort of thing. So we hope that with the volumes that Brazil has been producing, the private sector steps in and builds more warehouses. So that's also something that we understand, and that's important that we have it, more warehouses in the future. I think these are the questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you.
Just to complement what Miguel has just said, we export in a single month more than 330,000 tons of cotton. So, despite the fact that we have limitations in logistics, despite the fact that we're still looking to improve on that front, still we have the ability to export something close to 4 million tons a year, even uh, only using the port of Santos, or not everything, but 98% going out through the Santos port. I'm not sure, Nicole, if we answered your questions. If you have any other question, please feel free to ask us. You're welcome to ask more questions, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia. And now I'd like to move on to Mr. Joe Tantal. And also, Mr. Joe, thank you again for being with us. And I'd like to hear your comments on what you saw today and your view as a textile mill, and how do you think we can improve our business between Brazil and China, and what advice would you give to the Brazilian cotton industry to improve market share in China? Thank you.
尊敬的各位领导，大家好。
Dear leaders, good evening. It's a great honor and pleasure to be invited. I'm really happy to be here in the Cotton Brazil Harvest 2021 Roundtable, China. Yanlong Group is using Brazil cotton. Let me show you the basics. Yanlong Group is in Henan province of China, and we have the killing capacity of 600,000 spindles. We use 100,000 tons per year. 80% are from Xinjiang of China, and 20% are imports. In the last 2 years, if you look at our imports, Brazil cotton and US cotton each take 50% individually. In my company, we are in this industry of making yarns, and we are also planning another factory with 400,000 spindles, and this is 32 to 100 staples, and these are yarns used in home textiles, shirts, and also cotton materials for clothing. In recent years, in 2019, we were impressed because of the trade friction between China and US, and our imports from Brazil increased a lot. Generally speaking, in the last 3 years, from 2019 to 2020 and 2021, our imports of Brazil cotton is getting better, and I mean the quality is getting better and better. As Nico said, the price of Brazilian cotton is getting higher as well. Originally, if you look at the cotton we buy from the market, for Xinjiang cotton, you see American cotton is $1,000 higher. I mean, 1,000 RMB higher. You see, I would say the Brazilian cotton is 500 RMB less than the US cotton, and the Australian cotton is 1,000 RMB higher than American cotton. Chinese textiles import Australian cotton, American cotton, and Brazilian cotton. Because for the 3 countries, you have machine for picking, and you ensure there's very good consistency. In Xinjiang, and there is a lot of use of plastics in plantation, and there is hand picking by some people. So there are some foreign fibers in Xinjiang cotton, and that's why we need to import cotton from the three countries. But you see, we are improving and in Xinjiang, but for the plastics to remove that, and it's a big issue because when you plant the seeds in spring, you have the plastics, and there is improvement, but it's not removed totally. Today, I'm participating in this roundtable. So I have some summary points to share with you in using the cotton from Brazil. Nico have shared her points. We have similar ideas with Nico. I mean, personally, we need to look at Brazilian cotton versus American cotton. And I would say Brazilian cotton is less competitive against the American cotton. You know, what are the points to share with you about that? First of all, the applicability of making yarns is a bit less than the American cotton, and there will be a lot of tangling. And when we are making yarns, there is a lot of tangling leading to issues.
In 2019, we've used all the cotton in Brazil, and we use about 75% of them. And we have found out we have the problem of the cottons have been twined during the spinning process. And previously, we've seen the same situation in Xinjiang cotton before. But when we start to use the pure cotton, we tend to use the one from Xinjiang, Hubei, Hebei, Shandong, Henan, this domestic produced cotton, because cotton in these areas, they would be less than 20 of these cottons. And we have done some study because the result says maybe the sugar content is higher than that. So we bought a series of the sugar content testing equipment. And after a period of time, we have found out maybe for the Xinjiang cotton that relates to the seed, and that may also relates to the happening of the insects invasion. During the spinning process, the normal production cannot be guaranteed. In this way, we cannot apply them in a larger scale. For the import cotton, we use the Australian cotton before, and there's no problem. Even though they are expensive, but it's worth it. We also use 100% of the American cotton, and the American cottons from some places may also be twined sometimes. And in the first half of this year, we have used a kind of cotton from America, and we have 50% of that. The number of the spinner is 96725. And this batch of the cotton has very severe problems of twining. So when we are seeing these problems, we as a spinners factory, it's a really big headache for us, and we hope that Abrapa in this aspect can do some further study in this aspect. Of course, for us, the requirement We hope that it can be longer and more and stronger. In this way, it will be good for us textile companies to come out with the better quality of the products and sell the products at a higher price. And it also be easier for us during the production process. This year, when we are purchasing the cotton, we also have done the summary of experiences. So for the supplier division, we would not purchase the 1 1/8 cotton. This year, we use the 1 2/3 of the cotton, and generally, we think the quality is very good. And we hope that the cotton Brazil, in terms of the study of the seed and the management of the production, can take some experience from Australia. And we can get the stress will be more than 31, and strength is also can be over 30. In terms of its fineness, I think it is very stable, and we have the HVI tests. Maybe people do not pay enough attention to this indicator, but I think that is also closely related to the seed quality. For example, it is normally 155 to 165 for that in the Brazil cottons, and that will be good for improving the strength of the textiles. And this is very good for improving its strength. And compared with the longer ones, and the length is 37 to 39, and 145 to 155 for the cotton from Brazil. And for the strength, the bigger the better. And we have the strength of 40 to 44 in terms of strength for the long stable cotton. And would you like to know that why the cotton is so much expensive for the one from the USA is because they are good in terms of strength. And we also have some question for the cotton Brazil, the second largest exporter, and a huge amount of export to China. And we believe that many of the textile factories in China have the same view that the cotton in Brazil, maybe one may purchase 5 million or 10 million tons of the cotton from Brazil. And we also have studied the sequence number. The first 3 numbers are 0, and then A789 and 854 and 599 according to the introduction. This is the serial number of the cotton, and we would like to know that what 789 represents, what 638 represents. The Xinjiang cotton we are using now, we for the in China is about 186 bales per batch. And we have the classification method, and we've done the test, but we are not doing the test for individual bales yet. So we'd like to learn that how these cottons are prepared in each batch. And we'd like to hear the information from Brazil. And just now, from the sharing.
Okay, Mr. Zo. I I want to be able to get you very clear answers to your questions, and you're giving us a very important opportunity to show everyone our our bail tag and what the numbers stand for. And this is I'll show you here. Share screen. Okay. This is so this is our beta tag. Okay, as you can see, the current one. You see that what the numbers are. So the numbers are. This is the ginning plant code. Okay, the ginning plant. Yeah. This is the press code. This is the bale code. Okay, here. I'll share this with you, and then you can have this later as well. The barcode EAN code is this one here, and a lot of people ask me regarding the dates that are printed. So the date, this is the state where there was gin, and this is a print date here. The date that was the bale tag was printed, not the date actually the cotton was produced.
Yeah.
And this is the new one. Okay, this is the new tag for this year. So this year we're going to have the new tag. So it's a new tag. It's new, different. So it's more simple. It's going to come with a QR code here. With this QR code, you'll be able to use your phone to scan and get all the information from the bale. You're going to get the HVI data, certification, BCI, number of the gene, number and name of the farmer, name of the gene. Every information will be here. Okay, you just have to use QR code and you get all the information here, or still use the barcode. But you can to use the barcode, you have to go to the Abrapa website and use our system. So it could be either way. So we're gonna send more information about it. I mean, hopefully CNC and BCO will be helping us to send to our friends in China detailed information. But these bale tags. So this is what the number stands for, and this is what the new bale tag from this season 2021 is going to be looking like. So we're going to spread that to you. So thank you for your comments, and I would like to pass on to President Busato. I mean, I'm totally sure he has something to add in that respect as well. And then after that, we're gonna have a lot of questions from our audience. So people are asking questions, and I would like to take some time to answer these questions as well.
Tudo bem, Marcelo. Não, eu queria agradecer.
Well, I just wanted to thank Mr. Zhu for his comments. And I would like to talk about honeydew on the land. I'm an agronomist and I'm also a farmer. And we do have a problem to identify the batches that may have some sort of problem with honeydew. What causes that problem? We know piercing and sucking insects, whitefly and aphids. But at times, it happens in part of a plot in a farm that has different plots, and all that cotton is ginned, and we are unable to identify the bale. And sometimes we see some bales with that problem. What do we need? As today we have the bale tag that tells us the farmer that produced that bale. We have the Abrapa information system that is included on that tag. So we know where and by whom each cotton bale was produced and where that cotton was ginned. So we need that information. That information has to come back to us saying these bales presented problems with honeydew. That information can be passed on to Marcelo, and we will contact the farmer that produced those bales so that we can discover what happens and improve that in the future. That information is invaluable to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. We have a few other questions here. I would like to have them addressed quite quickly because we are really a bit ahead. We are a bit late with our schedule. And Miguel, I will ask you, and if you could please be very objective in your answers. First of all, the question is, I got two for you regarding the growth of local spinning industry in Brazil. So whether there will be still enough cotton to export, considering that the Brazilian cotton industry is still growing. And the second question is whether there will be specifically this season enough containers from Santos Port to export our production. So two questions for you, Leo.
Okay, thank you, Marcelo. Well, the first question, that's interesting because the Brazilian spinning mill industry, they are concerned that Brazil is exporting so much, and they are concerned that they will not have enough cotton to supply the local industry. But no, the Brazilian consumption is steady at around 700,000 tons for the last years. Part of the growth of the industry has been on synthetic fibers. And as we hope, and we would really like that the local industry could grow, because this would support the producer to increase even more what they're producing today. So Brazil consuming 700,000 tons and producing 2.5 million, there is no risk that the cotton will be not available for exports. Brazil has the potential to grow the production and supply both industries, the local and the export markets, and that's the objective. In terms of the containers, well, that's the problem of the season. You know, this is a worldwide problem. The container terminals are congested around the world, and Brazil is not different. So we can expect that they're going to have some delays in the shipping period. This is something that is happening already, and it's going to happen the next month. We hope that this situation worldwide is solving the sooner the better, but it's going to take some time. So what we're going to expect in this particular season that we are right now, that maybe it's going to take a little bit longer to ship all the cotton that we have to ship. We're going to have a better idea in the next 2 or 3 months ahead of us.
Thank you. Thank you, Miguel. I have two questions here for you, President Julio. First of all, can Brazilian cotton since Brazilian cotton is inspected bale by bale, how do we share the results with how are you going to share the results of the with the end users? Como que vai compartilhar os resultados agora? Se o Brasil tem um algodão 100% analisado HVI, como é que esse resultado chega na ponta para as indústrias?
Just repeating the question in Portuguese. Well, through the SBR HVI program, you just read the QR code on the tag that Marcelo showed you, and on the QR code, you will have all the data pertaining to that bale.
Thank you. Thank you, Julio.
Right.
Another question for you is here that I would like to get here is related to sorry, there's so many questions here. Yeah, the number of this is here. They were asking about whether there's a plan for Brazilian cotton of the Brazilian cotton growers to have stocks in Malaysia or China or Singapore to provide cotton mills just in time and get benefited from the better prices in Asia. Is there any plans to do this?
Olha, nós estamos avaliando essa
Well,
questão.
we are assessing that possibility at some ports, but the barrier today is the cost of doing that. And due to the lack of containers today, it would be an even bigger problem, but we will keep on looking for alternatives. Unfortunately, to date, we haven't been able to do anything that would be economically feasible.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we, I think we've reached more than 1 hour and a half
Não,
of event.
Marcelo, só tem mais uma pergunta.
Marcelo, there is one more question I was sent that I would like to answer. It's a quick one. There is a question here that reads the following: if there is any chance for us to increase cotton acreage in Brazil. The answer is yes. There is this possibility. And if we look at what happened in the past 4 years, Brazil doubled its cotton production. And how can we do that again? Well, Brazil plants 38 million hectares of soybeans, and we planted 1.5 million hectares of cotton. So we just have to take another 1.5 million hectares from the 38 million that soybean has, and we would double again Brazilian cotton production. What do we need to do that? We need profitability of the crop, and we need a market. And that is why we have an office in Singapore, and that's why we are running different programs in order to conquer more markets so that Brazil can produce more cotton and quality cotton. That's it. So there is a question. What's going to be the acreage for 21-22? Well, we estimate an area of 1.6 million hectares. We want to go back to those 3 million tons that we produced, not this season, but the previous season. And for the future, we can grow even more. Very nice, excellent.
Now I would like to ask our guests, starting with Mr. Zhou, for you to make your final remarks. We are finishing our panel, so I would like to thank you very much for being with us, sharing your perceptions. That's very important to hear from you, be with you, and hopefully we'll be in person together in China, visiting your mill. So thanks a lot. So please, your final remarks for before we finish this event.
哦，还有刚才啊，我们还说了一个，就是说
Just now,
短容率的问题。短容率的
we mentioned SFI. SFI is a bit higher than American cotton and is getting better.
我有那个短容率和棉花种子呀，它的关系不大。
SFI is not related to the seeds of cotton. It's more about the gaining technology, and the rotating speed of the gaining technology is too high. So talk with the gainers so that they can improve their processes. That's pretty much everything. I welcome all the leaders to visit Henan province in China. Welcome to Yinlong Group and give us directions so that we can do a better job in management. And we'd like to learn from you so that we can become a big player in the world, because we have a long history. We'd like to be a 100-year company. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zhou. Nicole, thank you very much again for being with us, and I would like to ask you to say your final words, please.
谢谢 Marcelo， 谢谢。
Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you, Mr. Basato and Mr. Miguel. I've shared what I know. I know you are improving a lot. And for our company in CNCGC, we imported about 150,000 tons from Brazil. And if you are increasing your production and your exports, I'm sure CNCGC will further cooperate with Brazilian growers, exporters, and the Chinese market will have a big share of cotton from Brazil. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Miguel Hobbs.
Well, I would like to thank everybody that took their time to listen to what we have to say. I would like just to emphasize that Brazil's commitment to the cotton is a long-term commitment. Brazil is very serious in terms of improving quality, and this is something that you can expect in the next years. And thank you very much for the presence. I would like to, I'm here available for any other opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miguel. So now I say thank you all, and great being with you. I mean, for our audience, our guest speakers, CNC, and the ambassador. And I would like to give the pass on to Mr. Júlio Busato, our president, for his final words. Mr. Busato, the floor is yours.
Olha, infelizmente o tempo passou
Well,
muito rápido.
unfortunately, time flew because we have a lot more to discuss, but we will have other events to do that. I would like to thank all the participants, and I hope to be able to see you soon in person. Stay well and healthy. Greetings to everyone, and now let us watch the video called Manifesto Cotton Brazil.
In view of so many transformations in the production and consumption processes, Cotton Brazil represents a new step for Brazilian cotton in the global market. After 20 years of constant innovation, research, and investments led by ABRAPA, Brazilian Association of Cotton Growers, its members and partners, it's time to offer the textile universe a raw material that constantly seeks to evolve in quality and sustainability. The market prioritizes transparency, and Cotton Brazil fosters Brazilian cotton, emphasizing its support of the environment and its promotion of social and economic development. In our scenario, advanced technology and agricultural management tools add to the dedicated expertise of trained professionals to develop precision, sustainable growing practices. Supported by its calling for hard work and the search for continuous improvement, Brazil remains one of the main agricultural suppliers of food and raw materials in the world. We value productivity. We pride ourselves on being the fourth largest producer, second largest exporter, and the largest supplier of cotton licensed by the Better Cotton Initiative, BCI, in the world. And this journey gives us confidence to evolve and go further. Our field science is aligned with the delivery of a product increasingly in tune with the demands of buyers, spinners, and apparel manufacturers in Brazil and around the world. In Brazilian cotton, one will find proof of origin, traceability, quality, technology, sustainability, and now consistent year-round supply, thanks to a constant increase in productivity. Count on Cotton Brazil. Step by step, we grow for a better future together.